You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Jen.
And I'm Megan, and we're two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way.
And today we are going to talk about multiple streams of income and how important it is as a small business owner, even if you work a 9 to 5, which not a lot of our listeners probably do, but it is so important to have multiple streams of income. And I feel like COVID was a huge example of that. And today I just really wanted to kind of talk about a personal experience that has kind of been what I've been going through and things like that. So prior to starting my business during the pandemic, I started working for a network marketing company called Beauty Counter. Mm-hmm. And it truly inspired me to start my own business. It showed me that you can run a business from your phone, first of all. It also showed me that you can run a business outside of the 9 to 5. And it truly inspired me in so many different ways, not even just making money through, selling amazing products, but also the community that I got behind it as well. Mm-hmm. I feel like that truly started my entrepreneurship journey.
Can you talk about Beauty Counter a little bit? I don't think you've ever given me a full background of it. Is it affiliate marketing stuff?
No. So it's a network marketing company. So basically you have consultants who sell the skincare products.
Right.
So a lot of people understand Beachbody, what that is. So you have your own website link. So Beauty Counter is the company name, mm-hmm. and they provide you with the products and things like that.
Okay.
But you have your own website and you're able to, and then the payout would be you get a percentage of whatever you sell of those products.
Okay. So it's kind of like modern day door-to-door salesman.
Yeah.
With beauty care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or skincare. Cool.
Skincare. Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Beauty care too. They have makeup and body washes and things like that.
Okay.
But recently, so that kind of unfolded my entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
I don't do it as much. I still have, I built a team. You can also build a team. So I built a team. At one point I had, I think 9 girls under me, who were all selling the products and, and sharing their journey.
I had no idea the background of this. When you mentioned it, I'm just okay, cool. I figured it was an affiliate markeing thing.
No,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So no,
you were so personal and
individualized. I actually, so there's they always call these companies a pyramid scheme, basically someone's at the top and then everyone works under, which is the same as corporate. So it's corporate is also a pyramid scheme, if you guys don't know that by now. But so what happens is, say for example, I'm at the top of this pyramid, so I'm getting revenue from all the people under my team. You get 3% mm-hmm. of what they sell. Mm-hmm. So you get 25% of what you sell. Say I sell $100, I get $25, and so on and so on. And then I get a percentage of my team. And then there's bonuses and kickbacks and all that. Right. My first year doing it, so I started in, I want to say April of the pandemic, 2020. That November, so it's based on every month, I'm going to go in a rabbit hole, but every month you start back at 0. So it's a quota that you have. So they had kickbacks where if you reach a certain amount of revenue that you're selling or your team is selling, you get titles. So director is a very high title. There's only 3% of the company that gets to that position. And you have to sell $10,000 or more between you and your team and whatever. So that fourth quarter, I hit director, which is huge in your first few months of doing this, but even doing it in general. Mm-hmm. So that truly showed me that my sales skills can work in other ways.
Yeah.
So it was just a testament. So the reason I'm bringing this up is Beauty Counter just went through a crazy transition. Some people do this full time. It is their thing. It is literally what they do. They're stay-at-home moms. They're just looking for a cleaner journey in their products that they're using, that they're putting on their skin. They've really invested their entire life into this company. Mm-hmm. So, and some do other network marketing or other affiliate links and things like that. But primarily a lot of the Beauty Counter consultants just do Beauty Counter. Mm-hmm. So back in April, Beauty Counter announced that I'm not going to go into the whole details, but basically our CEO sold the company and bought it back for lots of reasons behind it. But she bought the company back. When she bought the company back, there was a really crazy transition from the previous people that bought it to her. So they had to basically close the entire company down, start a whole new LLC, and basically basically they're rebuilding the entire company. So that was supposed to end on May 1st, and the website would be back again. The consultants can resell. So they got pushed back a little bit more. So last week we got on this is in Canada, United States, and I think it's just Canada, United States that sell Beauty Counter. So a company-wide Zoom call happened, and they announced that Beauty Counter is shutting down and they won't potentially reopen until fourth quarter. So all of these people make thousands of dollars selling these products and things like that. So basically the reason that I wanted to bring this up was that happened overnight for these people.
Yeah.
And there was and the CEO and founder, her name is Greg, and she came on this call in tears. Like, I can only imagine what she's feeling like, just literally taking the rug out of all of her employees.
Right.
But she had no other, she had to do this. And it just made me realize that, for example, what if both of my bars crash? And not that this is ever going to happen, but knock on wood, but what if they both crash and I have no way of making an income anymore? And, what if Beauty Counter was my sole, stream of income? It literally shut down. The consultants can no longer sell. Wow. They can no longer run their businesses. Mm-hmm. And this happened overnight. And it was just like a testament to remind everyone that having multiple streams of income is so important for so many reasons. And, things that I do that relate to my business is I coach other mobile bars. Mm-hmm. So say my trailer shut down. And this is not like the mobile bar, the Vintage Horse is my sole, that's what I do every single day.
Right.
These other things are what you would call side hustles or smaller streams of income, but
within your business,
within my business.
Yeah.
But it's still multiple streams of income.
True.
Beauty Counter was one. The Vintage Horse was another. Mm-hmm. I do crafting here and there, when I want to.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to start doing social media management. Mm-hmm. And the reason that I wanted to do that was for my off season. So I wanted to be able to go into off season to really have some type of stream of income, because the Vintage Horse really shuts down for off season. And,
right.
We're still getting our deposits similar to your business. But I'm
different.
not getting, it's so different. Yeah. So I'm setting myself up for success in the long term.
I love that.
But there's so many things that you can do within your niche or not. You can definitely have things outside. Do you want to share yours?
Yeah, I pet sit a lot, but it's not like a consistent, every month I have a thing, but it's people go on summer vacations and, oh, Meghan, are you here? So I have a list of families that reach out to me all the time for, in advance. So if there was a time where, something happened with my business, if I don't know, just inquiries got really, really slow, if something happened just with the wedding market, which it kind of is. A lot of people have been talking about that this year, that inquiries have just been really tanking for a lot of people. That, I could reach out to those people and be like, hey, I'm taking my photography thing a little bit slower. If you need somebody, yada, yada. People would refer me to then their friends and their friends. And I could, I have leads on that. But within my own business, a different stream and expansion that I've done is videography. And that's been huge for me because, like I mentioned, inquiries have been a lot slower for a lot of people in the wedding industry this year and next year, especially 2025. I've seen a lot of people commenting in Facebook groups and just posting about it that they used to have in the past couple of years, last year, the year before, they would have double or triple the amount of weddings for the next year that they currently have. And I feel really lucky and fortunate that I decided to make that move and that I was pushed to make that move to add in videography to my services, because today the number of weddings I have booked for next year in comparison to this time last year, I have the same amount, but that's because half of them are video weddings. And so I've been able to tap into two different markets and, put myself out there with not just photography, but now videography as well. And some of them are a combination package, photo and video, which is also a third other market, because some clients just want to be very hands off and be I just want somebody to do it all. And other people are a little bit more picky and specific with, I want this person and this person. Yeah, but if I didn't decide to do video and I just did my photography weddings, I'd probably only have 2 or 3 booked for next year versus the 7 or 8 that I do have. So I feel really lucky about that, but that was a business move and it is a lot of luck. And a lot of like gratefulness and fortune for me. But at the same time, it's like I made it happen that way. So I don't have a lot of different streams of income. So I'm excited to hear you talk about it and like how important and valuable you think that it is. Because for me, it's really just my photography clients, my videography clients, and hopefully styled shoots in the future. I've been really enjoying planning the one that I have coming up in the next couple weeks. But it's a lot.
Yes.
So I think in the future it'd probably be like a buddy system kind of thing or an off-season thing.
Yes.
Like you said,
Yep.
when photographers aren't so busy and other vendors aren't so busy. That would be the perfect time for everybody and a great time for me to make a little bit more money too, to put all of this on. There are some styled shoots and content days that we've done together that it's just like lending a hand, pat on the back, like free for everybody. But I have charged like a ticket price for the photographers to come, because I'm making this happen for the photographers and their portfolios, and then giving back a little bit to all the vendors that are participating as a little gift. Mm-hmm. And everybody's so nice. Nobody's charged me really anything except like a florist. Yeah. And I do have some other expenses. Like I had to get a dress online because one of the bridal shop that I'm using didn't have something that I really had a vision for. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to find this somewhere else. Which is totally cool. But like even the bridal shop isn't charging me anything. So really, really lucky and excited to see about that in the future because I love planning things. And I feel like same with you, like if I wasn't doing wedding photography, if I didn't have the business that I had now, I would probably be a wedding planner. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so. I love the administration, like planning part of things and like organizing things, and I love paperwork.
Oh God.
So I feel like I would probably be a wedding planner, and I'm like, well, I gotta like scratch that itch somehow, and I feel like that's gonna be styled shoots.
Yeah, totally. And I think too, like, you know, your multiple streams of income all relate to your business.
Yeah.
In a way.
In ways.
But I think you have found different ways, like the photography, like headshot day that you, I think, Jess did.
Yeah.
Like I think you found like different ways here and there, and it's trial and error. What works, what doesn't work. Like the one content day that we did back in Norwalk last 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. It's crazy.
I realized that I don't ever want to plan a styled shoot.
Really?
Like, not my thing.
Really?
No. I will come, I will serve beautiful cocktails, but I don't want to be a part of it. I think because like,
okay,
I don't know what it was, but I realized that that's just not my thing. Mm-hmm. I love planning. Yeah. But that wasn't my niche of what I enjoyed doing.
Interesting.
So
I wouldn't have expected that.
I know.
Funny.
Yeah. So, and I've been on multiple styled shoots now, and like just as the bar, and I'm like, this is my
better.
Jam. Yeah. I can focus on like what I want to do, but I love the coaching aspect. I think I've realized that I truly enjoy helping other people, and like that's where my passion comes in. Yep. And I think that's how you find multiple streams of income. Like, there's a quote that I always hear, and it's like, find something you enjoy doing and you'll never work a day in your life. Yes. And I truly feel that like for this social media marketing or social media management that I want to start doing, I love doing my Instagram, but I didn't know if I was going to love doing it for someone else. Right. Because it comes naturally to me to be able to post a reel or a photo of my business because I'm
it's
in
yours.
It every single day. And
yeah,
it's mine.
right.
So what I've realized is I want to tap into other businesses that I have a passion for. So like one of them that, and I'm going to see if, and again, this is a trial and error, but if you don't try, it's never going to work out. And you're just going to keep wondering like, is this something I really want to do? Do I want to do this? But I have found that I can do social media marketing on my downtime of my business. So I think if you have a small business, or if you're a business owner and you know, that is your bread and butter, your prime income, you want to make sure that whatever your secondary forms of income are not going to really affect your main piece of business. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to fall short on your main form of income because that is your bread and butter. But you want to be able to have multiple different incomes because I'm very big on listening to motivational podcasts, and they talk about it all the time. Like you should have 5 to 7 streams of income.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's true. All these millionaire and billionaires, they don't have one job. I was listening to another podcast recently, and it was all about doctors. And even doctors, the millennial generation and a little bit older than that really found that, like one of them that I was listening to was I forget what exactly specialty he was, but he wanted to find other ways to help that field.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to find like more natural ways than using just medicine for this field. I forget. It's something with the heart. I forget what exactly it was. But you think of a doctor and you think of they come every day, they prescribe you with medicine and that's it.
Right.
But now these doctors are finding other ways to have, streams of income. And it's crazy because it's like you have so much work just being a doctor.
Yeah.
But if you find passion in other ways, it doesn't feel like work anymore.
True, especially for things that are kind of passive too. Like if you can set something up and just let that run, like rental properties or something like that. Like one of my dreams, I guess I'll get into it after talking about this because we've talked about this or touched on it in previous episodes about the 7 streams of income and how important that is. And my dream one day when I move to Alaska or New Hampshire or wherever it is, I would love to have like a little Airbnb like site venue, have a bunch of tiny different little cabins so that you can bring your whole family, and like this site can be for mom and dad and this site can be for siblings and whatever. And then I could just be the in-house photographer. And I love that I could do that for weddings, but also just do that for family vacations, do that for anniversary parties, for family reunions. Like that doesn't, like a space like that wouldn't have to be about weddings, but I could market it that way. And especially if it is, really up North Maine where like people aren't really, local to, but it could be a tourist area with a lot of things to market. Like maybe I could do like helicopter tours or like whatever and like build up a package as well with other small businesses and make people come to me. Yeah. Because if I lived so far out, like really northern Maine or New York even by the Canadian border, which I would love, it's so far out in the middle of nowhere. It's like if I'm getting inquiries for New York, if I'm marketing for New York, that's a gigantic state. Yeah. And people don't really realize that. Like, I don't know, if I just put New York, that's so general for people to be like, oh, come down to Long Island versus being at Niagara Falls. Yep. Like not the same thing. But if I had my own site, I wouldn't have to worry about all of that travel and people could just come to me. And so I've been thinking about that a lot. And that's a long-term goal and dream. But I think that would be so cool, building up like a photography team there. And if they don't want like a photographer, I love to coordinate things too. So like I'm happy to be a coordinator or build a photography team. And just, I don't know. That's like one of my dreams is to insert something that isn't photography related in a way that I can still also apply it to the business too. I think that would be really cool.
Oh my God. I love that. I just think if you can find something that you enjoy doing every day, and this is why I got into the social media side of it, because everyone's like, oh my God, like how do you do your reels? But I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, right.
So it's not work to me.
Right.
Like every day I'm like, oh, okay. Like there's days where I want to post like 5 different reels and I'm like, all right, Jen, calm down. Like you don't need to do this much.
You don't need to post 10.
But it's easy for me. So it's like, that's something that doesn't, like what stresses me out is money and finance. But doing a reel and, getting on my stories and calling someone, like none of that stresses me out. So I think it's like, I'm such a firm believer that everyone's brain works in so many different ways. And I feel like the way that works for me is like, I can put myself out there. Like I can talk to someone. Mm-hmm. I talk to people at the grocery store all the time. But if you can find something that comes easy and naturally to you and find a way to make money off of it, it's gonna be that much easier to be able to have that multiple stream of income.
It's not gonna feel like work. It's gonna feel like it's just part of your life. That's how I feel with photography. Like I don't really have a day off. Recently I feel like I've been going more into like your system where I've been working in like a lot of pockets where like I'm helping my dad with this thing this one day, and so like I'm not working during the day there, or I have to go like run an errand over here, and so I work at night instead. And I've been doing that a lot lately, and it's actually been working really well because I feel like instead, when I first started my business, I like had this mindset that I needed to keep things so separate, and which is true to an extent. Like you don't work 12 hours a day. Try not to, cut it off somewhere so that you can cut yourself a break and feel more empowered and motivated the next day. But I have been looking at it more of like, this is my life and like, this is part of my life. And it's not just like somewhere I clock into. And I feel like I've been like kind of freed. Like I've been working in like nights sometimes. There have been a couple days where I've gotten up at like 8 a.m. and worked until like 7 p.m. and still felt great and rejuvenated because I knew the next day I had something else going on. And I was like, I've been really compensating and balancing my time really well recently. And I feel like just letting go that, like, I don't know. I feel like I was putting myself in a box in my head where I was like 9 to 5, like you have to work 9 to 5 and cut it off at 5 or 6 p.m. and like don't work at night. And like I was very structured. And I'm like, Megan, if that doesn't feel right, don't do that anymore. Yes. Like, stop it. Why? I don't know. Why was I doing that to myself? Like, I didn't have to. Yep. I could have. There are some better ways.
That's so funny because we always talk about like we got out of the 9 to 5 because we didn't want to be the 9 to 5. But I think it just comes naturally. Like 9 to 5 really never even worked for me when I had a 9 to 5. So, but I think you have to do what works best for you. And this Pockets started when I started Beauty Counter because the biggest thing was you can run your business when you want to run your business.
Yeah.
And this is when I had 2 toddlers under the age of 2. And I was building this mini empire through Beauty Counter, but I was working when it made sense for me. So I was, God, looking back during COVID, I was in the best shape of my life. I was like in the best mindset. And that was a time where people had it so hard.
Yeah.
But I think I just took that with a different vision because I was getting up early to work my business, but I was also working out. So I was doing like a quick, like 25, 30-minute workout before my kids got up. Then I was working on my Beauty Counter business, and we would be on a Zoom call every morning at, I want to say our Zoom call was at 6 a.m.
Woo!
Because all of us were moms
right.
to kids who were home with us. So 6 a.m. they were still sleeping for the most part. And my daughter or son like would come downstairs at like 6:45 and like get on the Zoom. But those were working calls.
Yeah.
So we would just be on call with each other and we would get our work done. But we were like in an office together, which sounds weird because it was on Zoom. But that's what started my pockets of working. And to this day, it's just what works for me. Like I've never had set business hours. I never will with my business because we're more of a weekend. But I love that you changed that.
Yeah. I've been feeling a lot more my word's balanced this year. I have been feeling more balanced because I've been trying to also just make it feel like it's part of my life. And I love what you said about getting up and doing the workout and then doing Beauty Counter and like counter and having that kind of like everyday sort of structure to it. Like the book I'm reading right now I hate, so I haven't been very good about this, but when I was reading the series that I actually did really like, that was like 6 books long and I read it really fast. But anyway, to my point is like I loved waking up in the morning, reading my book and eating breakfast and then starting to work, starting with emails and then getting into the editing and then, taking a break sometime and coming back, or if there was other things on the to-do list, like, I don't know, preparing my cameras for my next wedding, something like that. I don't know. It just like felt better with the structure of like wake up, read the book, then go to work, or like do the other things on my list halfway through the day. And like if I only work 4 hours in the day, like during the day, and I, break to go do this appointment or whatever and come back, like I don't, like even if it's 5 o'clock, that doesn't mean I can't work. And I was like telling myself that like, no, it's 5, you can't work anymore. And I'm like, why was that a rule in my head? I don't know. So I feel maybe all these conversations have helped me break that wall down a little bit too, because, it works for you. Yeah. And like, just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I can't also work in Pocketly. And like, I don't know why I did that to myself, but moving on.
That's what probably worked for you at the time too,
maybe.
Though. So, and then you evolved and my word this year is evolved.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Whoa.
But you evolved into a different mindset. And I think that's good. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's like trying things out and seeing if it works. And if it doesn't, okay, move on, pivot and try something different.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like, I'll get a lead. And if I'm home and I'm like near my computer doing something else, my mindset is go respond to that lead. And I might not have been at my computer at that time, but then it prompted me to probably get a little bit more work done because I'm probably going to stay at my computer for a second, get some work done, and then go back. I also have total ADHD. So like I'll like do a little bit of work and be like, oh, I forgot I was doing the dishes in the kitchen. So I'll go to the kitchen and then I'll smile again and be like, oh,
I forgot
I forgot the laundry has been, and it just reminded me, I've had laundry in my washer machine for 24 hours now. Oh, it's going to have to be rewashed. But like, this is how my brain works. And
yeah,
but I think it's okay. As long as at the end of the day, you're getting to what you need to get to, then it doesn't matter how it's done.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to like the topic today of multiple streams of income. Like, I think this is where I'm going to have to be more organized if I really want to do the mobile bar business, the coaching, which I really do coaching more in my off season. I don't promote it during busy season because I don't think I can give it as much attention, but I do it more in off season. And then the social media management, I think I just need to find when I'm going to work on that. And I truly think I need to set aside, because I'm going to do this on an hourly basis for clients. So I truly need to say, okay, I'm going to work an hour on this day, and this day. And that's solely going to be for social media management. But I think if I can do that, then, and it's funny because I think now I need a little bit more structure on my days.
Interesting. So
Isn't that
flipped.
so weird? Yeah.
We flipped a little.
We flipped a little bit on that. But yeah, I basically, I don't know, today I just really wanted to talk about, and this is a shorter episode, but I just want to talk about how important it was to have multiple streams of income because everything happening with Beauty Counter was just a testament to, and same with my career at the Hyatt.
Yeah.
That got shut down. COVID was like, bye, no more event planning. And I was on maternity leave at the time. And I was literally like, talk about the rug being pulled from underneath you. I had no clue what was going to happen after.
Yeah.
And if you can set yourself up for, and especially now with so many online businesses that you can do. And I love Canva, and Canva is a huge source of income. Talking about like selling something that's passive income, you can sell a playbook or, going back to the event planning side, I know an event planner who literally sells, they're called decks, I guess it's called, but it's basically a layout for you to plan an entire wedding. And I think it's like $40, very cheap. But if you sell that to 100 people, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that can be sold like anywhere. Etsy, Canva, you could buy it on. Like there's so many things. And that's passive income where someone can buy it when you're sleeping at night.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even your social media thing, like that's something that you can totally scale and get some other people, train them to do what you can do. And they can work on their own clients under content creations. Yeah. So I know. This has been a very motivational episode, an inspiring episode to like get started on something and just let it grow. And like it's gonna be really hard and like a lot of sweat in the early days, but it's going to get so much easier. And I really felt that the past 2 episodes, I think we talked about my first wedding in April, how I've established a team now. And so I have all of the same shooters that come with me to my weddings, rotating schedule depending on if they're available or not. But I've limited it to only like 10 or so people instead of just like, oh, you can shoot with me and you can shoot with me. I've like really narrowed it down. And I already was like reaping the benefits of it because on my very first wedding, they were all girls that had shot with me last year or in previous years. And like day one, I already felt more comfortable because they were all people that I was happy with and that they already had done videography with me as well, like already or in their own businesses. And it was just like, it just felt so good and natural. And we might get to a point where they don't even need me anymore too. And we could do 2 weddings in a day. And I could have photo and video going on 2 different weddings all under me. And like, that would be so crazy. And I'm not sure that I really am able to let go at this day and time, if I'd be able to not be there for a big day like that. But that's what I'm saying is that like after a year of consistently working with just these handful of people, that next year they probably would be ready for it and happy to do it because
and you would have the confidence
and I'd have the confidence in them. Yeah. And the trust in them. And also it's just worked out so well. Like a lot of these second photographers for me are moms or have their other thing going on. And so this is another stream of income for them as well. Like one of the second shooters that I love works with me a lot, or is going to in this next year. She has a studio. And so she used to do weddings and big events and things like that. And she still does some tiny ones, I'm pretty sure, but mostly her thing is the studio. She does like Mommy and Me. She does kids. She does boudoir. She does like anything she can in her studio. And she still loves wedding. And same with a couple of other photographers on the team. They have kids, or they went back to a 9 to 5 and still love to scratch the itch of photography and are second shooting with me to, satisfy that. But just saying, like, in her case specifically, because her business is her thing, that's her number one thing. But second shooting is like a whole other thing, like working for somebody else, but still within your industry. And I second shoot a lot too. So I guess, hey, that's another, I didn't even think about that for me, but like that's just such a smart way to still be involved and use your camera to make it a second stream of income, but something that, you're not so responsible for. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to book the client. You don't have to talk to the client. You just show up that day and leave. And like, that's huge and works out so well. So that was a huge thing for me too, was just like accepting the help from these people and realizing that like this benefits them just as much as it's going to benefit me, because they also love to do what they do and don't want to do the editing or don't want to do the parts that I still do want to do, because I love paperwork, like I said. So it's funny.
I love that. And I think too, I also want to preference that I have seen a lot of entrepreneurs, because I think this is how our brain works. You get these ideas and you want to run with it, but then your brain is going in so many different directions that you can't really focus on what you actually want to do. And what I mean by that is I feel like you also don't want to confuse people by doing too many streams of income. So basically, like I've seen a lot of, I think they're, what do they call it? Serial entrepreneurs, where they're doing like so many different things. Nothing has to do with each other. And I think that also confuses people.
Yes,
because
100%.
It's like, okay, you're organizing closets, but then you're a photographer, and then
you're also a baker.
You bake and you plan events and you, and like, I think the issue, because I think that's all well and good if those are their own things. I think the confusing part for me is when people do that and then just market and brand themselves all in one space. Like, if you're going to bake, cool, bake on this page. But if you're going to shoot weddings on this page and don't mix it with the baking. You can once in a while to be like, hey, did you guys know? Yeah. But like, that's an Instagram stories thing. Not like I'm going to post a reel every day on my wedding page about my cookies. Yep. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Totally agree with that.
Rock and roll with it. Continue. I just needed to say that because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because like I just said, I do a lot of pet sitting, but I don't post about my pet sitting on my wedding Instagram. So continue.
Yeah. And that can get tricky because there are, like, for an example, going back to Beauty Counter and even going to the Vintage Horse, I could not figure out a way to market my coaching and also market my Vintage Horse together, because I did not want to do a separate Instagram, because all the followers who follow me on the Vintage Horse are the potential clients who would be my coaching clients too. Right. But I didn't want my clients for the bartending side to be like, wait, I'm so confused. She coaches mobile bars.
Am I supposed to be on this page?
Am I supposed to be here?
Yeah.
So it is very confusing, but you also have to figure out a way to tie it in together. And stories for me was, I would do a post here and there, but stories for me is where I would market myself for the coaching side, because, those followers who are following me, who are other mobile bars, hopefully will see my story.
Yeah. Or the link tree in your bio. Yeah. Or now Instagram has built that in where you can just do it through Instagram. But yeah, having like where you put your website link, you could have a link that's like inquire here, brides. And then you could have one that's like mobile bars. This is for you. Link.
And
so
also
it's separate.
Newsletters. And
I forgot you do the newsletters.
Well, I haven't in a long time, but I need to get back to it. But also blogging.
I know. Oh my gosh, I know. That's been on my to-do list forever. I got my new website done. Amazing. Also needs to shout her out. Liz at We Are Sunday Sunshine. She redid my website for me, and I was so happy to just have that off my plate. But she prepped a blog page for me, and because I used ChatGPT to like write all my blogs, and I in like 30 seconds sat down and just like typed in like what I remembered about the weddings, and I had like 10 blogs ready to go, and I was like, amazing. This is the best thing ever. So I have them all in a Google Doc like ready to be put in. I just haven't done it yet because I was like, well, you can just make me the template and I'll just copy and paste it, because I want to pick the photos. I didn't want her to pick the photos. just because that's what my business is. And so I was like, just make the template and I'll just throw it together at some point. And it's been like, I don't know how long my website's been up, like what, 2 months?
Yeah.
Something like that. And she poked me about it the other day, actually. She was like, did you get my email about like the template blog page? And I was like, I did, but I'm sorry. So, but that's huge too, because then once you're on Pinterest or something like that, you can link it back to there, because all of those keywords, insane. And then even there, like if you did expand into other things, like if I had a blog post about a styled shoot and then posted that on Pinterest and I got other photographers interested in it that way, because a lot of photographers go to Pinterest for, inspiration or something, then that's also a space where I can market my styled shoots without confusing clients on Instagram, because they would just go to the website and be like, oh, this isn't for me, and click out.
I'm definitely a firm believer that Instagram needs to be a specific page to your specific niche.
I think so too.
Facebook, I feel like you can just do whatever on there now.
I think so too.
What did we say? Facebook's the first child?
Yeah.
And I truly feel that, I think blogging is such a great way to be able to market yourself in different ways.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but it's definitely on my to-do list at some point. But I basically, to conclude this episode, I just think it is so important to be able to find multiple ways where you can generate an income. It can either be in the same topic or a different topic, but just figure out ways to be able to market it properly. But it's so important. 7 streams of income. That's my goal.
We'll get there. That's my goal too. I've got my weddings. Well, photography, videography, I guess. Yeah. Styled shoots I'd love to do more of. TBD. We'll see about that in 2025. And hopefully the podcast one day. I would love to have, I use so many amazing subscriptions that I would love to share with the world. So that would be fantastic. But the podcast is just fun in itself.
Now it's fun.
Right now it's just, I think it'll always be fun.
But always, definitely.
It would be great one day to, again, this is something that we love to do, and so it doesn't feel like work.
No.
But if it could generate ads and things while we're asleep, then there you go. Yes. So this is your motivation and sign to start a podcast.
Yes, do it. And come be a guest on ours too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in today. This was a fun episode, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Cheers.